Hello everyone, this is Venom, and we are back with another Destiny 2 video. Today we're taking a look at a peek at what's going to be coming in Codename Frontiers, that is year 2025 Destiny 2. And it's going to be the next generation armor. It's going to be the armor, I guess, 3.0 is what we can call it. I don't know what we're really up to, but we're going to be getting some pretty interesting changes buildcraft-wise for armor, and I am honestly all for it. Again, this is one of those situations to where it's something I had hoped for in the past and never thought it would actually come to pass, but we're actually going to be getting it. Now I'm not going to read through the entire article. I'm going to go over the TLDR like I usually do and just kind of go right to the areas I want to talk about. I'm not going to go over every single little thing, but I do want to go over the big things that I think are going to be really impactful and go over a few examples. Now, again, it's going to be coming in 2025, so we got a ways to go. It's not coming until next year. But the TLDR of the article is, armor will be a more active, interesting part of build crafting. Stats will be reworked to be more impactful, less confusing, and less constraining. And set bonuses will be introduced to give individual armor sets more unique identities and build crafting elements. The set bonus thing is a really big one there. Now, before I even start, I know they're still trying to make things like the armor system and the weapon system, make it more new player friendly. I'm going to go ahead and say now that even though this would probably help with that a little bit more, the fact that we're going to be getting more set bonuses, or getting set bonuses, and the stats are going to be changing, it will and won't help new players. I think the biggest thing to help new players is still going to be to release all that old content that we're still missing from the game. So, like I said, we should just start a petition to bring the Red War back. But yeah, like I said, in pretty much every video, bring back the Red War, all that missing story stuff, that'll help everybody catch up. But as far as the actual armor stuff, yeah, this might help a little bit. I don't think the current system is too confusing, but that is my biased opinion because I played for so long and I do a lot of build crafting. So, you let me know, is the current system confusing? Is it hard to get into? Personally, I don't know because I'm used to optimizing everything pretty easily, so I honestly don't know anymore. So, let's see. It says, a problem in the years since the last major update, Shadowkeep's Armor 2.0, armor has settled into a relatively static part of the reward story. Once you have the right stat rolls, there's very little else to do. That is true. Pretty much once you got the armor set stats you want, you really don't have anything else you got to do. You basically just keep that armor with that set of exotics you're going to be using, and you're set. For armor to be exciting it needs some unique properties, and stats need to be easier to manage without so much need for the fine-tuning. Now, stats definitely could be easier right now. If you don't know how current stats work, there's only so many stat points you can get in the top 3 and bottom 3 categories. You're going to have to min-max certain ways, but it can be a bit of a pain in the butt if you don't know what to do. And even once you do know what to do, it's still going to be a lot of grinding and a lot of fine-tuning. And even then, you can get screwed over by having an armor piece that's just 1 or 2 points off. It really is a little bit annoying sometimes. This is going to be the rework stat mechanic. And here we got an example here, and I'm going to go with that here in just a second. It says, stats on armor will be changing in Codename Frontiers in order to make them more player-friendly. The first major change is in the mechanics of the stats themselves. And this is the part that I like. Stat effects will no longer be tiered every 10 points. Every point in a stat will provide a benefit. This change is intended to reduce the lock-in effect that happens when a fine-tuned combination of stat values makes it feel impossible to switch out any singular armor piece. As of right now, for your stat points, only every 10 stat points matter up to 100. Past 100, you get no additional effects. So if you have 99 mobility, for example, you might as well just have 90. It's either 90 or 100. If you got 99, you basically have 9 wasted points. You need to get that one more point to get the 100, or it means nothing. Resilience. If you got 89 resilience, 99 resilience, it doesn't matter. You need to have it on every 10. So that is nice. Every point will matter. That has been a really big annoyance. Now, I get to the next part. It says stat effects will be capped at 200, with the range from 101 to 200 providing an additional powerful effect building on the base effect. This change is intended to support deeper investment in a smaller number of stats and spike your stat distributions on armor with fewer secondary dump stats. So basically, we will be able to go up to 200 now instead of 100, and going from, once you get that base 100 is going to be the base now. Once you get past 100, you will get additional effects for building into it even more. It says, in addition to the above changes, the distribution of stats on armor will also be changing. It says, legendary armor will have a stat archetype, which determines the primary and secondary stat types, with a third stat being a free roll. The value of these stats should overall be spikier, leading to fewer points in dump stats. Now here's the cool part. The class slot, the cloaks, the binds, and titan marks, will have full stat distributions on par with other slots. right now, the class items do not have real stats on them. Once you level them up to level 10, then yeah, it gets 2 stats in each column, just like it, or on each stat, 2 points each stat, just like any other piece. But at base, they do not have any stats. They're blank. The other 4 pieces do have stats on them, but the class item only gets stats when you level it up to 10, and it gets 2 in each category, and of course, whatever mod you put onto it. So that's going to be kind of cool. Now here you can kind of see, I'm going to bring the picture up here. This is just named, this armor piece named Chesty. But you can see they said it's going to have different armor archetypes. Here you can see it says it's a brawler archetype. And in it, it says armor archetypes have extreme melee and other close range capabilities. And you can see that it's actually got 30 strength, it's got 20 discipline, and it's got 10 intellect. That's the third random roll stat here. Now, I doubt the armor we're going to be getting is going to be that even. I doubt we're going to have even 30, 20, and 10. That's probably going to be, you know, randomly roll like 27 and 16, shit like that. But it looks like this just gives us an idea, what they're going to look like. And you can see right there, it's got the set bonuses here. We're going to go over here in a little bit. It doesn't list any here, but this just gives you an idea what the sets are going to be looking like. And now, I don't know if overall the amount of stats we're going to be getting is going to be higher, because you can see right here, it says total of 60. Now, that's not bad. It's not really high. It's like a mid-range. But with us getting the class items also getting stats, technically speaking, we're going to have more stats to roll with. So, yeah, I think we're going to have just more overall stat points, hopefully. And that'll make it easier to actually build into those level 200s. So I'm looking here. I'm looking at Strain 200. And I'm thinking, like, how is it going to be possible to actually get higher and like build up to 200 for stats? But it looks like it's probably not going to be that hard. We should have just 3 stats. It should be easier to get spikes in those stats. It should be easier to kind of build into what you want to. So far, I'm liking what I'm seeing here. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Now, we're going to skip some of this. We're going to go into new stats, because they're also going to be changing how some of the stats work here. So the stat changes, we're going to have 3 goals in mind. It's going to be improve specific weak stats that offer little value. For some reason in my head, I know everybody's screaming mobility. Fuck you guys, I'm a hunter main, I love mobility, but it definitely is not necessarily good for the other classes. But improve specific weak stats that offer little value. Reduce or eliminate mandatory must-have stats, which, let's face it, is resilience. And overall improve understandability of stats and their effects. Now, I don't think necessarily stats are hard to understand now, but I do think that we do have some stats that are definitely weaker than others, depending on what activities you're doing, and there are some stats that are basically must-haves no matter what class you're at, which also makes it very easy to build Titans for their stats, but a little bit harder to build Warlocks and very hard to build Hunters, because Hunters need a stat that pretty much the other 2 classes dump, which is mobility. So, yeah, it's easiest to build Titans, moderately easy to build Warlocks, and it's hardest to build Hunters, if I'm being honest with you. Now, these changes are still under active development, but here are a few examples from work-in-progress designs, which will eventually include muster all the current stats found on armor. So right now, on Discipline, from 1 to 100, it's going to provide increased grenade cooldown, okay? Now, from 101 to 200, those extra points, they're going to provide an increased chance to get a bonus grenade charge whenever your grenade becomes available. That's pretty cool. So I'm guessing, you know, from 101 or from 101 you'll have 1%, and at 200 it's probably 100% chance to get an extra grenade. So that would be a pretty easy one to see. And it says a stat renamed to grenade to improve readability. So basically, discipline is going to be renamed to grenade. Okay, makes sense. It kind of should have been named at the begin with, but yeah, makes sense. Next up, we got strength. From 1 to 100 does what it does already, reduces the cooldown. But from 101 to 200 gives you an extra charge again. Provides an increasing chance to gain a bonus melee charge whenever your powered melee becomes active. So just like Discipline, and it's going to be renamed Melee to improve readability. So again, makes sense. Strength is just for melee, so it makes sense to rename it that. Now here's the one that's a little bit interesting. This one is called Special Ammo. Now, as of right now, we don't have an actual stat called Special Ammo, and none of the stats we currently have actually do anything with ammo. So I'm very curious as to what the hell stat's going to be named Special Ammo. So it says from 1 to 100, increase rate at which special ammo bricks drop for final blows, and from 101 to 200 provides an increasing chance that a double-sized brick will drop. My question is, what is going to be Special Ammo? It could be mobility. That would make Hunters even stronger in my opinion, but there's no real, like, I mean, I guess it would probably be intellect if I had a hazard a guess, because these 2 are the bottom tiers, you know, the discipline and strength. So I would think intellect maybe. I don't see resilience being renamed that. I don't see recovery being renamed that. So, well, actually, recovery might be able to be special ammo. And mobility wouldn't really make sense to be special ammo, but I'm going to go ahead and say that maybe intellect is going to be renamed to special ammo. We'll see. Like I said, there's nothing currently in-game that works this way, but we're going to see what they change it to. And now, here's a big one here. This is the set bonuses. Now, I'm not going to read through all this. Basically, armor is going to start coming with 2- and 4-piece set bonuses. There's not going to be a 5-piece set bonus as of right now because they're building these, assuming you're going to have an exotic armor piece on. Now, they haven't mentioned anything about this, but I would not be surprised if later on down the line they come out with entire set bonuses for exotics as well. Like, let's say a Falcon set bonus where, you got your Falcon equipped, and then there's an entire set bonus that goes along with that enhances that. That could be something that's kind of cool, but as of right now, that's not what we're looking at. Right now, we're looking at 2- and 4-piece set bonuses. And there are some... These are basically almost like having another exotic equipped, and I'm really liking what I've seen so far. I looked over them earlier, and I didn't kind of like them, but then I looked at them later on, and I was like, you know what? This is got some potential here. So, for example, a Protects Mechanica. It's a weapons. I forgot what they call them now, but it's a weapon foundry, and it's a hipfire. It's Yeehaw Cowboy hipfire style, and the 2-piece perk for Tex Mechanicus is while shooting from the hip, which a lot of Tex Mechanica weapons do, you have increased movement speed and weapon handling, and if the effect increases when you score hits. And the 4-piece perk is Tex Mechanic weapons have increased accuracy and range when hip-fired. This right here screams PvP set for me. This, automatically screams PvP set. This is just one more way to build into your PvE and PvE sets. This right here is definitely going to be a PvE set, and I think it's going to be a beast in a Crucible. Now, seeing this one first, I did not really like it because I was kind of skimming this earlier, but as soon as I saw the next couple, I was hooked. Now, we've got non-stop aggression. It says final blows with freshly reloaded weapons heal you. That's the 2-piece set. Now, I did not like that part, but when I read the 4-piece part, I was in love. It says damaging a target with a shotgun or a fusion rifle increases the damage it takes from those weapons for a short time. The first thing I thought about when I saw that, when I actually clicked in my head what was happening, is fighting Taniks's, 89th form in Deepstone Crypt. This set right there would be an automatic, just by wearing that set with no other proccing, nothing else, would automatically make your fusion rifles and shotguns do more damage. And shotguns, especially select shotguns, were at least at one point the meta for that Tanix. I don't know if it still is right now, but it's a very, very good ability. And it says fusion rifles here increase damage too, so even if you're not damaging bosses, if you're just damaging enemies, this is an awesome set. This is a straight up... This is basically added DPS right there just for wearing the armor. Not having to pick up orbs, not having to proc anything else. Just by wearing the armor, your shotgun and fusion rifle damage increases. Now, here's another one here. Demolitions Expert. Direct hits with explosive weapons temporarily increase the reload speed. Now, okay, not bad. It's an okay, 2 perk. And then the 4-piece. Repeated direct hits with explosive weapons temporarily increases grenade ability damage. I can already see some crazy crap coming from Warlocks with this one. This is a straight up increased damage. Then Vanguard Operative, I forgot what it did. The 2 pieces activating a grenade gives you and nearby allies damage resistance against combatants. Okay, that right there automatically is going to be looking good for Warlocks with their ice turns, with their Bleak Watchers. And then for the 4-piece, this one is not one I liked a lot. It says defeating champions with a finisher generates special ammo for your fire team. Now, it would be... excuse me. Now, obviously, it would be better if it was heavy ammo, but it would also be pretty cheap, too, so it's not bad. There are a lot of special weapons that definitely would want to run in Grandmaster, so not even necessarily Grandmasters, it's anything with champions, but when I see champions, I automatically think Nightfall, so that would not be too bad. That would not be too bad. It's a pretty decent one. So far, a pretty mixed bag as far as the effects you get, but each one is essentially like a whole set of exotics. And what's awesome is these are just a few of the sets they've got. So we've included a few examples below that represent the general direction we like to go. Now, these may change, and they've probably got a lot more, or at least a few more, and we don't know if they're going to go and backdate some of the old... Well, I'm going to read what they say about old armor real quick, and then we'll wrap up the video after that. Now it says, what happens to old armor? Old legendary armor will be changed as little as possible, but because it changes stat mechanics and types or global changes, old armor pieces will have their stat types, but not their values, change around. When possible, these changes will be to the most similar stat, but with some stats being fundamentally reworked, this won't always be possible. Now, what about exotic armor? Updating the exotic armor pursuit is on our roadmap, but won't be part of the initial update that is focusing on Legendary Armor. So this is only going to be focusing on Legendary Armor when it drops next year. So, to make sure that exotics and their build-defining perks remain a compelling option, we're working at a design that will allow players to update their exotic armor to bring their stat bonuses in line with the changes to Legendary Armor. The exotic class items introduced in the final shape are a special case. Even though Legendary class items will be gaining full random stats with this update, we don't wish to add additional randomness to the exotic class item chase. Instead, we'll be providing a method for players to update their existing exotic class items with additional stats, either choosing to bring them in line with the stat contribution of the new legendary items. More details on long-term player plans for exotic armor as we nail them down. So basically, since we're going to be getting stats on the class items, and of course the exotic class items are a pain in the ass to grind the ones you want, they don't want to make it to where when it comes out, it turns out the roll you've got has just got shitty stats on it. They're going to give us a way to put the stats on there that we want to, so that's what's going on. And they talk about the vaults and us needing more vault space for armor. Basically, they say too bad as of right now. They don't actually say that, but they're working on it. They're looking to do something in Behemoth the second part of next year. But as of right now, we're not looking at getting additional vault space. I'd say that's more likely what we're going to be getting, unless they come up with some new creative ways to store things. For example, giving us just a screen we can pull the exotic class items off of, like I suggested, pulling them out of our collections. That would be a huge, huge bonus. Once you unlock one of the exotic class items, you can just pull it from collections, that specific combination. That would be a huge help. And then maybe something to where you can just automatically level it up or max or make it level 10 if you've already done it. I don't know. Something along those lines would be great, but as of right now, we're not getting any additional storage space. So as of right now, I said it before when Prismatic came out, but this is a build crafter's dream. Now it's really going to depend on how these perks actually look, these armor sets, but so far, from what I've seen in here so far, it's got a pretty good representation as far as what I'd like to see for some set bonuses as well. I mean, we've got PvP based stuff. Well, again, I'm not a PvPer, but it's good to have that on there. We've got some sets that literally just increase damage for specific weapon archetypes, and then we've got some more support stuff too. So this helps you lean into the support roles for certain things as well too. So, and what some of the weapons we're going to be getting next week when the second episode drops, it's going to be even. It's just a lot of ways you can play into support roles. So. Yeah, I cannot wait to see this new armor set. I know we're going to be getting more information on it as it arrives. I am very curious to see how all the stats are going to be renamed and what they're going to be doing. And I'm curious to see what the meta is going to be. Because as of right now, of course, the meta is having maxed out resilience. I'm not sure how that's going to work once this new armor set comes out. I'm sure resilience is still going to give you, the actual damage resilience, but I'm curious to see what it does once it goes past 100. Maybe every point past 100 gives you an overshield. That'd be pretty damn cool. Or maybe it just gives you a chance to get one or something. Who knows? But I can't wait to check this one out and see more information. That is going to do it for today, guys. Thank you for coming by. Please leave a like on the video if you like what we're doing. Please sub to the channel if you love what we're doing, and I will see you all on the next video.